The city wakes slow, unaware. By the time the first Danfo buses begin to rumble through Garki, Amos and Kemi are already far from where the chase began. They move carefully, back roads, side streets, avoiding main intersections. Amos's motorcycle coughs from the strain, its muffler still wet from the rain. Kemi rides behind him, clutching the brown envelope like a lifeline, her eyes scanning every shadow that passes. Beat, the tension builds softly, they don't speak for a while. The hum of the road fills the silence. Only when they cross into the edge of Jabi does Amos break it. You said this journalist? How do we find her? Kemi hesitates, then pulls a crumpled paper from her jacket. On it, a single name and number. Halima A. Yusuf, the Civic Voice. She doesn't trust phones, Kemi says. But if we can get to her office before noon, maybe she'll help. Maybe, Amos mutters, or maybe we just lead them straight to her. Kemi's silence is answer enough. Both know it's a risk, the kind that changes lives or ends them. By mid-morning, the city glows under harsh sunlight. Abuja's beauty feels deceptive, bright roads, clean pavements, quiet estates. Beneath it, something brews. Something dangerous. At a checkpoint near Katampe, two men in dark polos lean against a helix, scanning every passing rider. Amos slows instinctively, heart pounding. Kemi whispers, "Keep going. Don't stop." The men glance their way. One raises a hand, but another truck honks loudly, momentarily blocking their view. Amos seizes the chance and swerves left into a side road. Kemi exhales sharply. That was too close. He nods. They're not police. I've seen those faces before. Where? At the logistics office, Amos says. They came last week asking questions about high-value parcels. Kemi's grip tightens around the envelope. Then they're closing in faster than I thought. They reach Kubwe just after noon, a bustling district alive with shouting vendors, blaring horns, and the smell of roasted corn and exhaust. Amos parks near a row of small offices and points to a building with peeling paint. That's it? Kemi nods. Yes, the Civic Voice. They climb the narrow stairs, every creak echoing too loud. At the door, a small sign reads Press, Authorized Staff Only. Kemi knocks twice. No answer. She knocks again, louder. Finally, a voice from inside. Who's there? It's Kemi, she says softly. From Nova Dispatch. The door opens a crack, revealing a woman in her late 30s, sharp eyes behind rimless glasses. Halima Yusuf. Her gaze flicks to Amos, then the brown envelope. Come in, quickly. Inside, the office is small but filled with energy. Corkboards pinned with newspaper clippings, USB drives hanging from keychains, a half-drunk mug of coffee on the desk. Halima locks the door behind them. You shouldn't have come here. Kemi frowns. You told us to. I told your contact to wait. Halima interrupts, her tone clipped. Do you know what you're carrying? Amos exchanges a glance with Kemi. We figured it's more than just paper. Halima nods grimly. It's evidence. Documents linking a group of politicians, security chiefs, and businessmen to a series of illegal contracts. Project Ijoko is code for a shadow fund, one that's been draining billions meant for infrastructure. Kemi's voice trembles. And now they know it's out. They always do, Halima says. But they weren't supposed to get this close. Amos looks at the envelope. Then we give it to the press. Go public. Halima sighs, rubbing her temples. It's not that simple. There are people watching every media channel in this city. We need to get this data out securely. That means encryption, backup routes, and trust. A beat of silence. Kemi glances at Amos. So what do we do now? Halima meets Amos's eyes, calm, certain, burdened. You help me get this file to someone who can protect it. Someone outside Nigeria. Amos tilts his head. That's a long road. Halima nods slowly. And a dangerous one. Outside, a car engine hums. Then another. Then silence. Halima's expression hardens. They've found us. She blows out the light on her desk. We move now. The noise outside is growing louder. The kind of noise that doesn't belong to the street. Not chatter. Not commerce. Engines. Boots. Radios crackling. Inside the Civic Voice office, tension hangs like smoke. Halima kills the remaining light and gestures toward the back. There's a stairwell that leads to the next block. Move. Amos grabs the envelope, slinging his helmet over one arm. Kemi follows close behind, her breathing shallow. From below, heavy footsteps climb, slow, deliberate. 2 minutes, Halima mutters. Maybe less. They slip into the narrow corridor behind the office, a dim passage lined with dusty file boxes. The air smells of paper and rain. Halfway down, A door bursts open upstairs, men shouting, "Search every room." "They're here." Amos looks back. "They're inside." Halima nods sharply. "Keep going." They reach the back of the building, an old wooden door bolted from the inside. Halima gestures for Amos to break it. He rams it with his shoulder once, twice, the third hit splinters it open. They step into a narrow alley drenched in sunlight and noise, generator hums, distant horns, people moving as if nothing unusual is happening. Kemi shields her face with a scarf. Halima slips on sunglasses, her voice calm but urgent. "We blend in. Walk like you belong." They join the crowd. Behind them, the sound of crashing doors and muffled shouting fades into the marketplace. A few blocks away, they duck into a roadside canteen, half covered, the smell of pepper soup thick in the air. Amos leads them to a corner table near the back. Halima sits, scanning every face in the room. "We can't go back to the office. They'll trace it." Kemi's hands tremble as she unwraps the bandage on her side. The graze has deepened. Amos frowns. "You need a hospital." She shakes her head. "Hospitals need ID. They'll find me faster." Halima opens her laptop, a small, battered Lenovo, and connects a USB cable to the flash drive from the parcel. Lines of encrypted text fill the screen. Amos leans forward. "What are you doing?" "Encrypting it twice," Halima replies. "And splitting the data into 3 copies, cloud, external drive, and physical backup." The screen glitches once, then stabilizes. A red progress bar crawls slowly forward. Kemi watches it, whispering, "How long?" 10 minutes, maybe less if the connection holds. Outside, 2 motorcycles pass, slowly. Too slowly. Amos's gaze hardens. They're sweeping the area. Halima doesn't look up. "We'll be gone before they circle back." The progress bar hits 100%. Halima ejects the drive, slips it into a waterproof pouch, and hands it to Amos. He blinks. "Me?" "Yes, you," she says. "They'll expect me to run with it, not you. You're invisible to them, a dispatch rider. Use that." Kemi frowns. "Where do we go?" Halima checks her watch. "There's a man in Dutsi who runs a data center out of his print shop. Tell him Halima sent you. He'll know what to do." "And you?" Amos asks. Halima smiles faintly, a tired, knowing smile. "I'll buy you time." Before they can protest, she stands, straightens her shirt, and walks toward the street. The sound of motorcycles grows louder again. Kemi's voice cracks. She's going to draw them away. Amos clenches his jaw. "Then we don't waste her time." He helps Kemi onto the bike, tucking the envelope and pouch beneath his jacket. As they pull out onto the dusty road, the first gunshot rings in the distance, sharp, echoing through the midday air. Kemi turns her head slightly. "Was that?" Amos accelerates. "Don't look back." They vanish into the swirl of traffic. 2 figures against the blinding Abuja sun, carrying the one thing powerful men would kill to destroy. The sun has risen high above the city, burning away the mist. The road to Dutsi is quieter than usual, just the hum of traffic and the rhythmic sputter of Amos's bike. Kemi leans weakly against his back, the heat pressing down on both of them. Her bandage is soaked through again. Amos glances at her through the mirror. "Hold on, we're close." The farther they go, the more the city thins out, fewer buildings, more dust, more silence. He finally slows beside a small signboard, Bash Tech Print and Internet Cafe. The place looks ordinary, too ordinary. Tin roof, peeling paint, the sound of an old generator chugging from behind. Inside, the air smells faintly of toner and instant coffee. A thin man in his late 30s sits behind a counter, tapping on a laptop. He looks up when the door creaks open. "You print or browse?" he asks casually. Amos hesitates, then says, "Halima sent me." The man's hand freezes above the keyboard. His eyes sharpen. Then, quietly, he stands. Without a word, he flips the open sign to closed and locks the door. "Come." He leads them through a narrow corridor lined with stacks of printer paper and cables, into a dim backroom humming with low-end servers. "Name's Bashir," he says finally. "She told me someone might come, didn't expect this soon." Kemi sways slightly. Amos catches her arm. Bashir notices the blood. She needs rest. There's a mat behind that cabinet. As Kemi settles, Bashir turns to Amos. "Do you have it?" Amos hands over the envelope and the small waterproof pouch Halima gave him. Bashir unzips it, removes the flash drive, and plugs it in. Lines of data scroll across his screen, encrypted files, timestamps, and names. He whistles low. She wasn't exaggerating. This is evidence. Real evidence. Amos leans closer. "Of what?" Bashir's eyes flick up. of how government contracts are being funneled into private accounts through ghost NGOs. Project Ijoko is the shell company at the center of it. Kemi stirs. So it's true. More than true, Bashir says grimly. It's digital paper trails, fund transfers, fake procurement records. Enough to bring down a few ministries, or to get us all killed. A sudden buzz interrupts him, a phone vibrating on the table. He glances at the caller ID, frowns, and answers on speaker. Halima? Her voice crackles through, weak and hurried. Bashir, they found me. Kemi bolts upright. What? Halima coughs. I'm fine, for now. I led them away, but they'll trace you soon. You have maybe an hour. You need to move that data. Bashir's jaw tightens. How? There's a satellite uplink station near Kubwe Express. Use it to transmit everything offshore. I've set a channel on the cloud. Code name Oriki. Static. Then silence. Halima? Halima. Bashir shouts, but the line's dead. The room feels smaller suddenly, heavier. Kemi whispers, we can't leave her. Bashir shakes his head. She knew this risk. If we don't move now, her sacrifice is wasted. Amos looks at both of them, then at the drive still glowing faintly on the table. He pockets it, his voice steady. Then we finish this. Bashir nods. I'll rig a decoy route through Nyanya. They'll follow it while we go the other way. Outside, the sound of motorcycles drifts faintly again, engines cutting through the quiet. They exchange a glance. It's time. As they roll back onto the open road, Amos's heartbeat syncs with the engine's rhythm. Kemi leans forward, whispering, if we make it through this. He smiles faintly, eyes still on the horizon. We will. But behind them, dust is already rising, a dark SUV speeding out of the city, closing the distance faster than either of them expected. The chase isn't over. It's about to explode. The sun burns mercilessly over Kubwe Expressway. The road ahead shimmers with heat, but the tension between Amos, Kemi, and Bashir is ice cold. The plan is simple. Reach the satellite uplink before the signal triangulation finds them. The reality? Simplicity doesn't survive long in Abuja. Bashir's small car rattles behind Amos's bike as they weave through traffic. Kemi, pale but determined, clutches the flash drive close. Her free hand grips Amos's shoulder. He can feel her trembling, not just from exhaustion, but from the truth they now carry. They finally turn off the main road, bumping through a gravel path that leads toward an unmarked telecommunications tower surrounded by bushland. Bashir parks under a tree, scanning the horizon. No movement yet. We're early. Good, Amos replies, swinging off his bike. Let's finish this before anyone. A sharp crack splits the air, a gunshot, echoing from nowhere and everywhere. Kemi drops behind the bike. Bashir ducks. Amos turns toward the direction of the sound, distant, maybe 300 meters. They're here, Bashir mutters, his hand already gripping the laptop bag. We don't have time for careful. Inside the small metal structure, the air is thick with dust and static. A single workstation hums beside the satellite rig, a blinking console, cables running up into the ceiling. Bashir connects the flash drive. His fingers fly across the keyboard, typing in Halima's code, Oriki_7A2. The system hums, then prompts. Greater than uplink secured. Data transmission in progress, 13%. Outside, the roar of engines draws closer. Kemi peers through a crack in the doorway. Black SUVs, 2 of them. Amos checks his pockets, 1 spare clip, half a tank of fuel, and a rusty wrench he picked up back at the cafe. Not exactly elite gear. Transmission's halfway, Bashir says. Sweat trickles down his temple. Just a few more minutes. The first SUV smashes through the fence. Bullets slice through the air, splintering metal and glass. Kemi screams, diving behind a console. Amos pulls Bashir to the ground, shielding him as sparks fly overhead. Keep it going, Amos shouts. I can't if they blow the tower. Bashir yells back. Amos grabs a loose cable, swings it over his shoulder like a whip, and darts outside. The SUVs are close, men in tactical gear emerging, guns raised. Amos ducks behind his bike, engine still idling. One twist of the throttle sends it jerking forward, crashing into the nearest attacker. He doesn't wait, grabs the fallen man's weapon and fires 2 shots into the air, forcing the others to scatter. Inside, Kemi watches the screen anxiously. Transmission, 82%. Then, silence. No more bullets, no movement, just the heavy wind and the flicker of dust. Kemi's heart races. She crawls toward the door. Amos is gone. Bashir, she whispers, where is he? Before Bashir can answer, a thud hits the wall outside. Amos, dragged by two armed men. His gun is gone. His face is bleeding. A third man steps out of the SUV, wearing a dark suit, sunglasses glinting. Calm, deliberate. Mr. Amos, he says, his voice low. You've made quite the mess. He glances toward the open door, noticing the faint green light of the upload console. Turn it off, he orders. Bashir freezes. If I stop it now, the backup activates. You'll lose everything. The man smiles faintly. Then maybe I should make it simple. He pulls out his gun, points it at Kemi. Stop the upload. Bashir hesitates. Kemi stares at him, whispering, don't. Amos, kneeling, meets her eyes, a silent plea. Trust me. Transmission complete. The system chimes. 100% uploaded. Uplink successful. A faint beep follows. Halima's cloud receiving the data offshore. The man's expression darkens. He fires, but the shot goes wide. Amos lunges, tackling him into the SUV door. The gun clatters away. Chaos erupts again, shouting, scuffling, a spray of dirt and smoke. Bashir grabs the laptop, yanks the drive out, and bolts toward the bike. Kemi, move, he yells. Kemi hesitates, torn between running and helping Amos, but Amos shouts, go. Don't stop. She climbs onto the bike, clutching the laptop. Bashir kicks the engine, and they tear off just as another burst of gunfire chases them down the dirt road. Behind them, Amos stumbles back into the open, breath ragged. The SUVs are wrecked, and the man in the suit lies half-conscious beside the fence. Amos looks toward the disappearing dust trail, toward Kemi and Bashir. He allows himself one tired, crooked smile. The truth is out, but the fight has only begun. He stares at the sky, still heavy with clouds. Somewhere above, Halima's code is alive, spreading across the web like wildfire. Then, faintly, a ringtone buzzes from the pocket of the man he just fought. Amos bends down and answers. A woman's voice on the other end says softly, you did well, Amos. But now, we need to talk about Phase 2.